never slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that. Spitting slow, spitting fast. I could roast, I could gas. Think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past. And the pettiness, a reflection of the emptiness. Hilarious, you think you're with my time, you're delirious. Mysterious, because you are behind a fake exterior. Inferior, you know I'll always be a bit superior. Get off of me, this ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel free from the chains at last, and to believe in what you got, it was built to last, yeah.
Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
All right, y'all, we're here, we're live. You're watching Buster Unmasked, and man, do we have a great show for you today. But before we get started, look, you know the routine. Like this video, share this video, go to Buster H.R. Johnson on YouTube and subscribe to my channel. Hit that notification bell, that way you get notified when any upcoming content comes out. You don't have to look for it. All you got to do is click on it when you hear the bell. Look, guys, man, today we talking about one of the brightest young stars in the wrestling business. And I'm not just talking about around our area, I'm talking about the wrestling business. But guys, before we get to my guest tonight, I've been looking forward to talking to this young man. You know I got upcoming podcasts that I need to promote all the way through March. Let's check this out, and when we get back, we won't waste no time. We'll get our guest on here.
Hey kid, don't ever let them get inside your head. They'll tell you what to do in life instead of everything you know that you could get. Don't let them guide your life towards regret. I'll fight for what I love with every breath. My past is filled with things I won't forget. I use them all to push me to my best. So treat the worst of times just like a test. If only I could go back in time, I'd tell myself that everything will end up alright. Just push yourself, test yourself, figure out what you like, and find your limits, don't be rigid, always work towards a prime. Surround yourself with open minds, people can change your life. A few friends with intent can help you feel alive. Find a passion, take some action, and with a little time, just be patient, make a statement, try to enjoy your life. They'll try to kick you while you're down. They wanna rise up while you drown. They wanna fill your head with doubt. They're silently scared that you'll figure it out. I'll make it look like I'm losing, won't bother hiding my bruises. And when they finally think you're wounded, then it's your chance to be ruthless.
All right, guys, you know what time it is. It's time to get this thing going. Look, my guest tonight is one of my absolute favorite young wrestlers, period, anywhere in the wrestling business. I'm going to tell you why. Because this young man puts himself out there. He don't just stay around one area. This guy has wrestled from California to Chicago and tons of places in between. He's trained with tons of different people. He's out there. He's a go-getter. And look, I have been saying for 2 years that this guy is a star already. The world just don't know it. And guess what? He is the current premier pro wrestling junior heavyweight champion. He is a regular on Ohio Valley Wrestling Overdrive. And without a doubt, he is the back-breaking artist, none other than Jake Painter. Jake.
Buster, what's going on, man? How we doing tonight?
Dude, doing great, man. I have been so looking forward to getting you on here. You was on here probably a year ago, maybe even slightly longer than that. I don't quite remember, but I've been dying to get you on here full show as a feature, man. Look, dude, you heard the opening. You're one of these guys. You don't just lay around one place, man. You wrestle all over the place. I've seen you on cards in California. I've seen you on cards in Chicago. I've seen you on cards all across Tennessee and several other states. Tell me something, Jake. Why do you feel like it's important for a young guy like you to get out there and travel and wrestle at all these different places, man?
You got to build that resume.
There you
I
go.
think I'm going to harp on, I think what we definitely discussed last time I was on here. The goal is to be undeniable. You got to look at that resume. You got to see, where's this guy been? What's he done? Who's he worked with? And at the end of the day, I want to be able to walk in a room or walk into a promotion, show them where I've been before this, and be that undeniable, face in that room, and to show them that I can do whatever is needed of me. Heel, baby, you name it. What story you want to tell? Let's make it happen.
Right. And so, look, man, like I said, you've been on here before, but for anybody new who might watch, let's give them a quick synopsis of how you got into wrestling, who trained you.
So, watched wrestling since I was a kid. Grew up idolizing the Rated R Superstar. Got known by a couple of different names these days.
Right.
And I always wanted to give this a shot. Played football for as long as I could. Saw the Edge came back, right? 2019, 2020 Royal Rumble, right? 8 years off. My football career ended with an injury, and there was probably a good time in my life where I used that as an excuse to not be active as I always was, or not be the athlete that I always was. And this was an itch that I had my whole life. And as soon as I saw Edge return at the Rumble, that fire kind of lit in me. And I said, if he's coming back from adversity and doing all that, why am I not giving this a shot? So started my training with Steve Boz and Jason Hades up at Chicago Style Wrestling.
Right.
Moved on to the Lucha side of things with Gali Lucha. Went up in Chicago. That was under Gringo Loco and Golden Dragon, as well as Atomico Senior. Then I moved out to Los Angeles and took advantage of an opportunity to train with WWE Hall of Famer Rikishi, as well as Reno the Black Pearl Anoa'i. And then got to work a hell of a lot with Rusev Miro.
Oh, wow.
During my time there, who was the first graduate, a part of the first graduating class at Knox Pro Academy out on the West Coast. And it's undeniable. That aspect of my career, I wouldn't be who I am without them. They really shaped me and framed me into, the not only the work rate, the player that I am today, but also, instilled all the values and, how to go about this business the right way. And, it's kind of taken off from there. Had opportunities, did a stint with the New Japan Dojo in LA as well. A graduate of their advanced program, and was featured on a showcase match there. Got to work with Paul London a lot too when I was on the West Coast. He's a plethora of knowledge, not only in the ring, but behind the scenes. With his acting background. It's undeniable things that he's taught me that I've I keep going back to the undeniable. It's these things that, if I didn't have them in my repertoire, I wouldn't be who I am today. Then getting a lot of opportunities out east here, I made the decision to, relocate, be a little more centralized. And, I feel like the Nashville area, I can pretty much get anywhere being
Right.
here. I'm able to get to Louisville on a weekly basis. I'm able to get to the Midwest. I can get all throughout the Mid-South, as you guys have been seeing. I've been staying busy throughout the Mid-South as of late. We can get to the East Coast. We can get to the South. We can get to Florida. We can get to the Alabamas, the Mississippis. You name it. And the Texases. You name it, we can get there. So
Distribution hub, man. Here's the thing. At the end of the day, I think pro wrestlers need to understand you're a commodity, and you need to be where you can be distributed to as many different places as possible. And I think that was a great idea, man.
No, and I highly recommend any person that's local, any worker that is local, to get out there as much as you can, and just make it happen. Don't get sucked into these excuses, and really take advantage of any and all opportunity that you can get.
Right. Look, Mark McGee's with us. He says Knox Pro has given us a lot of great talent, and I mean, Mark is a educated wrestling fan. He's more than a wrestling fan. He's actually kin to Butcher Vachon, the Vachon.
Oh wow!
So he knows what he's talking about. He knows pro wrestling. He growed up around it, growed up in it, and he's a super knowledgeable fan. Mark, I appreciate you tuning in, dude. So let me ask you something, Jake. You just kind of said it. You encourage any of these young guys, any guys, to get out and go to these different places. And let me ask you this. Let's pull it back a little bit. What was it? Did you know from the get-go, like from the minute you started training, that you wanted to venture out, that you didn't want to stay in your backyard, so to speak, wherever you was trained at? What was it that made you get out and go to all these different places, dude?
I think the biggest thing, is I wanted a reason to see the world. It's hard to pick, right? We live in a big, gorgeous place on earth here, and all the different places that we can get to. It's like, okay, how do I navigate that? How do I pick that out? And I always said I was going to find something that would take me to the places I wanted to go, and so far, wrestling has taken me. I never thought I would have lived in Los Angeles. That's for sure.
Well, let's talk about that.
I mean, it's crazy.
Where are you originally from?
I'm from Chicago. I'm born and raised in a suburb just about 30 minutes outside of the Chicagoland area.
So California is a whole half a country away.
Yeah, no, I mean, 2,000 miles away.
Right.
It's crazy. Went to visit a buddy who had moved out there to do some music, and it was my first time out there. And I'll never forget it. There's a rock that's like about, I don't know, 20, 30 yards off the coast in Malibu at a little private beach that we found. And I remember standing on that rock and just like, asking myself, why would I not deserve to live in a place like this, like a paradise like this,
Right.
And within that year, I made the move.
So let me ask you, go ahead, Jake.
No, you're good. No, you're good.
Well, I was going to ask you, how old were you when you broke into wrestling?
How old was I?
Yes.
I believe 22.
Okay, how old are you now?
I am 27. So
27. So you've been doing this 5 years, man. I mean,
coming up on 5. Yep.
Right. There's guys that's been doing this. There's some guys that's been doing this 20 years and never leave a couple of 100-mile radius.
Oh yeah.
Never venture out. They get comfortable, and I think that's one of the worst things that a young wrestler can do. Look, if you're in a place where there is, like when I was young growing up, we had CWA and USWA,
Yep.
Jerry Jarrett and Jerry Lawler. So I mean, they were the connection. The first goal was to try to get there, and then do good there, and then try to springboard that into going somewhere else. But now you don't have none of that around here. There's no dominant promotion that's got TV that's running the territory where you can work 5 or 6 or 7 days a week and make a living at wrestling. And I feel like a lot of young guys don't even think about venturing out. So you're a perfect example to these guys of why you should go out, experience different places, experience different wrestling, because wrestling's inherently the same, but there's a bunch of big differences in it depending on where
Yeah,
you are and where you go. So,
100%. I cannot work a match the way I do in Tennessee out in California.
so talk to me about that. Talk to me
Yeah.
about the differences in your home training, like Chicago, Tennessee, to going off to California and wrestling. Talk to me
Yeah,
about
I
the
mean,
difference in strategy.
you have a lot of different crowds as when it comes to the education and the knowledge of wrestling, right? And what kind of gets them. A perfect example is like in, Los Angeles and or in Chicago rather, Los Angeles and the Chicago area. You go to a wrestling show, that those audience are more catered to the athletic indie style, right? Like they're gonna want to see more. They're gonna be popped more by some flips. They're gonna be popped
Right,
more by some big spots. Some crazy stuff. Just I mean, you look at any AEW show that's in Chicago, crazy
right,
crowds are crazy. They're going crazy. What PWG is an LA brand. Where do you think that all that kind of style kind of came from with that? Um, you go to San Diego. You do that run of like San Diego, Tijuana, parts of LA. You're gonna get a lot of lucha.
right.
A lot of lucha style. Same with Chicago. There's a whole area of Chicago, probably two of the biggest, two of the bigger independent indie shows that run out of Chicago. So um, then you come down to Tennessee, you got to work this crowd. The crowd
Right,
and these crowds don't want to. They can't sit there and watch. Chaining back and forth. They gotta bring a real aspect to it. Otherwise you're gonna be wrestling in dead silence, which is
right.
probably the worst thing you could do. Um, yeah, I mean they need to be interacted with. They need to be entertained pretty consistently. And that's a huge difference that you're gonna see. In the mid South as opposed to those bigger cities.
Right. I feel like especially in the luchador. Look, I mean it's full of entertainment, but they also are the matches are boom boom nonstop, athletic stuff. They're constantly running, constantly flying, they're constantly flipping. So talk to me about the benefits for you of being so well rounded, because here's my opinion: you cannot be too well rounded as a professional wrestler. You need to be able to pretty much work any style at any time.
Yes, 100%. I mean, I would feel. Here's a perfect example. There is um, a good friend that I met at the New Japan LA dojo. His name is Shaheen. He is the owner of the biggest wrestling promotion in Dubai,
Oh,
and even a guy like that, completely style, very unorthodox, different style. He's trained everywhere, all over the world, and just instant chemistry. And
right,
this is a guy that's literally on the complete opposite side of the world of me. And from the first time we started rolling around in the ring, immediate chemistry, and now we're trying to plan a super match, so to say, in Dubai at some point in this year. Kind of a New Japan classmate kind of gimmick match. So
hey,
trying to
that's
see
a
what we can, that's that could be a huge opportunity for us both. Really a career changing moments there that can be made. So, that's a perfect, and that's just one example, like I believe my time with the Samoans, more than anything, Rikishi harps on that, like looking across, from you, what can I do with this guy? Is this guy bigger than me? This guy smaller than me? Can I pick this guy up, or do I got to work a little bit to get to this guy?
right.
Can this guy pick me up? Should I be letting this guy, try to pick my leg and, you know, and just take a face bump off, like no, like we gotta work to that. They gotta work a little harder for stuff like that. Teaching that footwork, right out the gate. Does this guy have good body control? You can tell that just by a shoulder tackle.
Right.
Does this guy work loose or does this guy work stiff? You can tell that just by the lockup and the headlock. These are all little things that, during my time working with the Samoan dynasty, like, I would have never noticed or I would never have picked up without that experience there. So
So talk to me about that. Talk to me about maybe the differences in going and training with the Samoans and going and doing the New Japan. Were there big differences, or was it kind of, because here's the thing, like you said, guys from across the world get in the ring, and wrestling's kind of a universal language to a point. There's a
Yeah,
bunch of different styles, but at the basis of it, I mean, whether you're in Dubai or in Arkansas, the base of it's still kind of the same thing. So talk to me about maybe the differences between training with Rikishi and training at the New Japan dojo.
yeah. I mean, Rikishi and the Knox Pro Academy really get you ready for, working that TV, working that consistent schedule, right? Harping on the basics, making sure that this looks, has a real, kind of right look to it, right? Because
Right,
you can tell, you can look when you watch it, it's like, oh, this is awkward. No, this doesn't look right. They really harp on, like, hey, when you're taking this guy over, like, we have to attack the mat. Headlock takeover. We gotta attack the mat.
right,
When you're, there's a saying that they have. You can tell that you're Knox Pro by the way you bump, by the way you attack that mat. When you bump in that ring, you were trained by a Samoan.
hey, they some of the best. I mean,
Oh yeah,
honestly,
straight
they're
up.
some of the best all around. Period. But bumpers, and that's how I was brought in. When I broke in, it was attack the mat on bumping. I mean,
Yep,
it.
and
it Go ahead, Jake.
absolutely. No, and it got it was hard for me at first with them because I had come from a lucha school, so you don't really bump at lucha schools. You roll everywhere.
Roll
It's
right,
like, you got to take care of your body, and it's a little more, it's tough. It's a little tougher. So when I first got there, I really had to go back to the basics of a lot of things. You know, adapt to what's going on, and how they want things done. And it was a blast. I wouldn't trade that experience for anything. Now hopping over to the New Japan Academy, right? That the best way I can describe that is I felt like I was in my element. It felt like football over again.
right.
Team drills,
Physical.
team warm ups, team drills. The class really felt like a unit. We all did the same things, no matter what the skill level, no matter where we were, and we all pushed each other to compete daily. Like it was a grind daily. Like you look to the left or your right, that person wasn't giving the same effort. Like we're calling each other out for it. Then it comes down to the trainings. To our trainers. We had Kushida and we had Fred Rosser, known as Darren Young in the
Right.
WWE, and I have this is what I always said. Kishi like instilled in me that I was worthy of all of this because there was times where I questioned my worth and what I brought to the table in the grand scheme of it all. And guys like Fred Rosser like instilled that confidence in me and my abilities and what I bring to the table. Um, he sayings like, you're gonna in this business, you gotta, like the taste. You're gonna have to figure out how to get over, eating shit all the time, and you got to get used to it because
Right.
that's what you're signed up for. And then our greatest ability is our adaptability. And that is ultimately what I took the most from New Japan is like it's like that same message almost, right? And it's just spoken different that Rikishi would put out there. Size them up, take care of yourself, look across the ring. What you need to be able to adapt to anybody that you're put in the ring with. Whether they don't speak good English, they have Japanese, Spanish, whatever the situation may be. There are a couple of guys who had come over from across the pond to train at Dr. Tom's recently. Those guys have a different style to
Yeah.
them too. It's just you got to be able to adapt and work with what's in front of you at all times. And I feel like my trainings and who I've worked with and what I've been through have really prepared me for all that. So it's been a hell of a ride, from that aspect. And I'm only looking to get better. This is why, on a weekly basis, I'm working with Doug Basham. And with Doug Basham up at OVW,
Right.
it's strictly TV. It's like we need to make this look as real as possible. How are these guys at NXT being taught?
So
How
talk
can
to
we?
me.
But
Talk to me about OVW because I mean, look, man, you've had repeated appearances on OVW. I
Mhm.
just seen a match with you and Cal Hero, man. Good, solid match, dude.
Thank you.
They're not killing you off. They're making sure that you're alive. They're making sure
Yeah,
they
I
can do
mean,
something with you, dude. Talk to me
yeah.
about actually going to Ohio Valley. What was the catalyst to make the move to Ohio Valley?
So that was a huge part of like the picking Nashville as a location to live as well. You know, we needed the biggest feedback I get that I was getting from the WWE when I'd have conversations with their people was we need more TV experience from you.
Right,
So getting to a place like OVW that runs consistently, that gets constantly watched by people where I want to be employed by is a huge deal.
right,
Um, so, and you know, for them to, first of all, earning every second I'm getting on TV there, like showing up for trainings, you know, it's 2.5 hours there, 2.5 hours back, Louisville, Nashville to Louisville, and I'm showing up to training and I'm showing up on show day. You know,
right.
so it's twice a week at least that I'm showing up there, earning that spot. You know, showing them that I'm willing to put the work in, willing to make the drive. You know,
Yeah, you got to
um,
show them you want that spot. You got to
you
show
got to
them you
show them
want
you
to be
want it.
there,
You
man.
know, and then to get opportunities with guys like Cal Hero, who's fighting for the title. You know, if for for multiple title scenes there. You know, working with the best that the company has to offer weekly. You know, to get some time in the ring with that guy, you know, is a huge opportunity for me and shows what, shows the work that I'm putting in and, that they're noticing. Had a match recently with Star Rider, who was their OVW Rush champion for a while.
Right.
Had a match on live on Rise this past week with the current OVW Rise champion, Super Z. So they clearly there's something there, to where they're putting me and setting me up, to get this audience used to me and kind of see where it kind of where it leads to from there.
Right.
Um, but yeah, I'm really excited about what the future holds with them, and just looking to get take advantage of every and all opportunities that I get. And getting a lot of good feedback from guys like Doug, guys like Al, um, people like Maria. Like those are all great people to learn the business from. So
Right, and they're the people that can take you to the next level, help you get to that next level. I mean, you mentioned it, having conversation with the WWE. Now they got this new thing, this WWE ID prospect thing going around.
yep,
And here a couple of months ago, me and you had a conversation in Bradford about, with that thing going on, man. I think you're a perfect candidate somewhere down the line for to maybe get a WWE ID deal, dude.
thank you. I appreciate that, and I hope the powers that be feel that as well, because
Man, you got to stay in
dream
their
come true.
face. I
Yep.
see so many wrestlers. They might go somewhere once and leave there. They might have a great match, but if they don't get contacted, it's like I ain't going. I'm not going to contact them. Understand? You're the one trying to get the job. They have the job, so
Yep.
you got to stay in their face. Wrestling, look, just like you. There's 100 other guys right behind you wanting the same spot you're
There's three
trying to get.
thousand. There's three
Exactly.
thousand. We are told all
Exactly.
the time there are 3,000 other people that want what we have.
And you got to prove to
That
them.
want it.
You got to
Yeah.
prove to them you want it that bad, and you got to stay in their face. Out of sight, out of mind is a real thing in pro wrestling.
Absolutely, and that's the biggest thing with them. They want to see updated pictures. They want to see updated matches. They want to see improvement. That's huge, and that's what a lot of these guys have been able to show. Like there's a fun backstory for each and every one of those WWID guys that got selected. They
Right.
showed a significant amount of progress in a very short time, which put them on the map.
Yeah, I think it's a really cool thing for.
Yeah,
I
and I
think
met.
it's a cool thing. Period, man. Here's the
Yeah,
thing.
I think it's good for wrestling.
It is good for wrestling. Look, here's the deal. There's guys out there that maybe are not ready to offer a full blown developmental deal to, but they can offer them an ID prospect contract. It gives these guys a little bit of financial security so they can go wrestle. wrestle more, wrestle at different places. Bigger opportunities come with having that WWE ID logo beside your picture, you know. And
Absolutely, and that that's look what it's done for guys like Aaron. Look what it's done for guys like Jackson so far. Like
right.
these opportunities that otherwise they wouldn't have really gotten. Outside. I'm sure they're working around, but like they're getting big opportunities now, and they deserve that. They've been grinding for a while, and they deserve their shot to show what they got. What they bring to the table.
Well, let me
So
ask you this, dude. You mentioned earlier about Rakishi made you feel worthy. He helped your confidence, and confidence. I don't know how I don't know that people realize how big a deal confidence is for a professional wrestler. And the thing about pro wrestling, you can be up here 1 second, and one split thing can happen, and your confidence is down at the bottom. Talk to me about that confidence and how important it is as a young professional wrestler, a professional wrestler, period, to know that you are worthy, that you have that confidence that, hey, I feel like I belong here.
yeah, I think confidence really falls into preparation at the end of the day. Have you put the work in?
Right.
Are you going to the gym? Are you dieting? Are you watching film? Are you watching yourself? Are you seeing the corrections that you can make with the way you move and the way that you do certain things? Are you just putting your hand, are you, when you go to shoot someone off, are you just grabbing their wrist, or are you taking their wrist because it's
Right.
yours and it's time and you're throwing them across the ring? Like, it's a lot of those little things, right? Like the confidence comes with the preparation. If you're prepared and you've done the work, then there's no reason for you not to be confident. And that's what Rikishi would always harp on with me. He's like, you work just as hard as anybody that walks through the door.
Right.
And
I'm a
it's
full
apparent.
believer in the confidence, man. I
Yeah.
look. I ain't gonna name them, but I can name you a couple of wrestlers right now who are stars when their confidence is high, and not so much when their confidence is low. You can just tell by where their confidence level is the difference in them in the ring. Uh,
Absolutely.
you know, it's
And I'm a human. There's days where I feel that happens, or like, I'm not gonna hate to be that guy, but there's days where I'm bummed,
I
where
think we all are, dude.
well, like there's days where I'm bummed, like that I'm not where I want to be in all of this, you know, and there are days where I forget that I'm on God's time,
Right.
right, and He has a plan and and in place for me, and I need to be grateful for every opportunity and for everything that I do, because you and I both could probably name 10 people off the top of our heads who would love to be a wrestler and be in my position, and can't.
Right.
Physically unable, mentally unable. But and it's their dream just to step in there one time. Like, obviously I want so much more out of this than I'm getting at the moment. And I think there's nothing wrong with that, as long as I have a healthy relationship um, with myself when it comes to, like, do I, the aspect of, hey, are you going to associate your happiness with the success, or are you going to associate your happiness with the journey
Right.
and being on the journey? And that is something that I feel like in the new year I've really had to flip that mindset switch for myself, because I was so obsessed with tying my happiness to success that I'm having,
Success.
or
Right.
and like where I'm at in my goal at the end of the day, when I should be, there's going to be a lot of wins along this journey, and I need to enjoy every one of them, and, be grateful for the life that I have and the opportunities that I have, and the fact that I can, wake up every day and say, I'm an aspiring professional wrestler who's done pretty damn well for himself to this point, and I'm only
Right.
getting better.
And you said it, God's time.
Yep.
Here's the thing. A lot of times we feel like we're ready for something and deserve something, but that don't mean we really are. And a lot of times God and fate intervene on that, and you may not get something as quick as you thought you should or wanted to. You may have to work a little longer, a little harder for it, but by the time that opportunity does come, most of the time by then you're ready for it. Because not here's the thing, opportunities come in wrestling. It's hard to turn opportunities down, and I'll never tell nobody, if somebody calls you and offers you something, an opportunity, it's wrestling. You got to go try.
Yep.
You got to go try, no matter where you are in your headspace, whether your confidence is low, whether your confidence is high, because it could be the one and only time you get that opportunity. But if you go there and that opportunity don't pan out right then, don't let it destroy your confidence. Don't let it destroy your drive, because you're on God's time. You're on fate's time. Just because you thought you were ready, maybe you just wasn't quite ready yet. Maybe in a year from now, that opportunity comes back and you knock it out of the park, dude.
Absolutely. No, and I've learned that firsthand. Been invited backstage to the big companies, and wanted that opportunity, expected it, and it didn't come, and I didn't know why, and I would be mad and upset and waste days of my life thinking and worrying about it. And I wish I could go back and tell my younger self, just breathe and let it come to you, because it's going to.
And you're a hard-working dude, man. At the end of the day, like I said from the get-go, one of my very favorite young professional wrestlers out here today, and I don't mean around this area, I mean across the board in professional wrestling. I feel like all you got to do is keep doing what you're doing, and your opportunity's going to come.
Thanks, Buster. I appreciate that,
like
man.
It, dude. I feel
anytime
like
anytime I have a win, I see that you share and like all my stuff. So I appreciate it more than you know. So thank you very much.
Dude, that's on you just as much as it is me, because you're out there going for this. You're out there going for this. You can't be the best in the world. You can't be one of the best wrestlers and just wrestle around a 200 square mile radius. You just cannot do it. You can be the best in that 200-mile radius, but out in the real world, a lot of times that 200-mile radius don't mean shit. In the real wrestling world, big fish, little pond. I'd rather be a small fish trying to become a shark in a big pond than a big fish in the little pond.
Absolutely, I agree.
So let's talk about Premier Pro Wrestling a little bit now. You're the current Premier Pro Wrestling Junior Heavyweight Champion. Is this your first run as the Junior Champion, or is this your second?
This is my first run.
Okay.
First run with this bad boy. And you know what? I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I believe that there is room for one more title on my shoulder, and that is currently held by Mr. Marco Harris. So, Marco, if you are watching this, I want you to know that the Backbreaking double champ will be coming to Premier Pro very soon, my friend.
Man,
be on the lookout.
It's a treat anytime we get to see you at Premier Pro. And Marco, he's like you. He's another guy out there, another young guy, busting his ass, trying to get out there and make a name for himself and get a deal. I think I've seen you two guys in some scramble matches at Premier Pro, but I don't remember.
But never one-on-one.
That's what I was going to say. I don't remember seeing you two guys in singles, and I think that's a hell of a main event matchup anywhere, dude.
Hey, let me tell you, I have all the respect in the world for a guy like Marco Harris. He's starting to put the miles in. He's starting to realize, hey, I really got something here, talent-wise, and he's finally getting out of this, little pocket of West Tennessee.
Right.
But something he needs to realize is that there's a new sheriff in town.
I can see could we see one guy hold the heavyweight and the junior heavyweight title?
Hey, and if I tell you there's one goal for me in 2025 at Premier Pro Wrestling, that would be it. First person to hold both.
There you go, man. It'd be
something Marco Harris never did, something Jason Genesis never did, something Damian Wayne never did. And I promise you I will be the first by the end of this year.
There you go. You heard it, Marco. If you're watching, you got a challenge out there, dude. Better shine that belt up, my man.
Yep. Hey, as one of our favorite wrestling personalities always says, it's not a prediction, it's a promise.
There you
go. It's a preview. It's a preview.
So talk to me about the backbreaking art, man. Talk to me about where this come from. Let me start off like this. How many backbreakers do you actually know, man?
Oh, man.
Mr. Jericho, dude.
List of Jericho, man.
I
You
want that
name it.
list of Jericho.
You
I want
name
them-
it, I throw it. You name it, I throw it. I try to come up with, some fancier, more fun, artistic ones all the time. You know. So when I initially was in wrestling school up in Chicago, I was having a hard time. Like, it's hard to think this now, right? I was having a hard time with pacing, and like when to do moves and how to do moves and where they're appropriate and all the little things you learn when you're going into wrestling school. And also too is like, what moves do I want to do?
Right.
I don't want to do moves that like people don't look forward to taking, or they're like, I call it, or I tell them, hey, I want to do this, and they're like,
Right.
you never want that. And I was just flipping through Ring of Honor matches one day on YouTube and came across good old Roderick Strong. And for some reason, it just all started making sense. The pacing, I could see the transitions throughout a match, through just watching. For some reason, watching him, I could watch him, then go back and watch everybody else, and then it all started making sense. I don't know
Right.
what it was. I don't know how it all clicked, and it just kind of took off from there, and then also too, like throwing a backbreaker. I think every wrestler could say that they would rather, take something over the knee than take a slam straight on the mat.
Right.
So
I've seen you hit backbreakers out of nowhere, man. Just out of nowhere. I've probably seen you hit 12 different versions of backbreakers over the
maybe more than that.
Over the last couple of years, man.
Yeah.
You're always fluid in the ring. And here's something else people need to realize. It ain't just what you can do in the ring. It's your package. It's your appearance. It's the way you carry and present yourself, not just out in front of the crowd, but in the back too. And I feel like you've got that down. I feel like, man, you're always professional. You always look great. Your gear. Here's the thing: when they put your picture on a poster, it adds to the poster, every single poster, no matter who's
Thank
on
you.
it.
Thank you,
And
Buster.
that's
I
what you
appreciate
want.
that.
You have to be marketable. There's got to be something about you that draws people's eyes to you before they pay attention to what you can do in the ring. There's got to be something there. And how important do you feel like it is to a young wrestler to look good and carry themselves in a professional manner in front of the crowd and behind the scenes?
Hey, since day one, you can go back to, my little league in football. Always been on that Deion Sanders quote. You look good, you feel good, you play good, they pay good.
That's right. There you go. It
And
all works together.
It all works together. It's a domino effect. It's a ripple effect. If young wrestler, you got to invest in yourself. Even, my brother, right, is as new and as green as he is in this sport. That gear looks professional. Looks like it's ready to go. He's ready.
Yes.
He's another one. Adds value to the poster just because he's got a look to him.
Yeah, he's a good looking young man, man. He's ripped, he's shredded, his gear looks good. And so while we're on ripped and shredded, one thing I noticed about you the last couple of times I've seen you, I feel like you're bulking up some. I feel like you're putting some muscle mass on and stuff.
Thank you. You.
So here's what I want to ask you, man. Is it still the same old trope in wrestling of if you're a small guy, you need to get bigger? I kind of feel like we're a lot ways past that in a lot of aspects, but
no,
is it still
not
a thing?
Necessarily, right? No, not necessarily. It depends what you want out of all this, right? I just want to be believable.
Right.
Whoever I'm in the ring with, if I'm in the ring with someone who's 6'4", 245 pounds, I still want to be able to look like a threat to that person. That's the easiest, that's how it goes. Otherwise it's gonna be a much harder story for me to tell, to break this big man down and, make it happen, to make it more believable. Also too, we are in an aesthetic business, so I'm gonna do my best to look as good as I can, and do it the right way at the end of the day too. There's a right way and there's a wrong way. I'm gonna do it the right way. Putting in the time in the kitchen, putting in the time at the gym. Not just the weights. Got to hit the cardio.
Right.
I am trying to bulk up a little bit, but at the same time, we got to stay lean. We got TV on a weekly basis. Come on, Buster.
There you go, man. I mean,
So
here, look a little.
that's what it comes down to. It's part of the gig. It's what you signed up for. It's a full-time. It's a second. If you have a full-time job and you want to be a professional wrestler, an independent professional wrestler, you sign up for a second full-time job that does not pay nearly as well. So.
And here's the thing. It's about presence too. Here's a good example. You can put Rey Mysterio in the ring with the Big Show or Kevin Nash, and unless they want you to really pay attention to that size difference, you don't. Rey Mysterio has that presence. I feel like you have that kind of presence.
Thank you.
Look at Bill Dundee, small guy, but he could step in the ring with anybody, and you didn't think, well, this guy's just going to crush him because he's so much bigger. A lot of times you even forget about the size. I watch Rey Mysterio work guys all the time, and you forget that he's 5'6", and this guy's 6'4".
Yeah, definitely.
By his bigger than life presence, and I feel like you have that same quality, dude. I feel like that. I don't feel like size is going to be a thing that's going to be that big of an issue for you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Definitely something I've always, in the back of my head every day. So I will continue to work hard. That's all it is. Continue to work hard.
Years ago, that it was a true thing, man. If you were under 6 foot and 200 pounds, you were considered small. I mean, now it's different. Now I was wondering that because that used to be a real thing, man. A lot of times back in the day, small guys didn't get opportunities that they were ready for because somebody looked at them, the booker promoter looked at them and looked at them and looked at the guy and said, ain't nobody gonna believe this. No, you got the right person with the right presence, they will buy it, man.
Yeah, and God bless AJ Styles and God bless Dan Bryan.
Right, and
Bryan Danielson.
Hey, let's go on back and ECW and WCW when they first brought all the cruiserweights in, man. That right there is where it started. Yeah. I believe where it started changing.
Jericho, Benoit, Eddie, Malenko, Mysterio. I mean, Mysterio is always that guy, the lucha that stood out, the luchas whose style translated over to TV really well. So, it was always right place, right time for him, especially, Vince falling for him at the time he did.
Right. Well, I mean, here's the thing. You can't deny his talent. I mean, at the end of the day,
he's the greatest luchador of all time.
Yeah, you cannot deny his talent. He had the talent all along. It just took it took a while for the right person to really see that and realize, hell, this dude here is a star.
Absolutely. Yeah, it definitely took a little bit.
So, look, you mentioned your brother, man, and I hadn't seen the matches yet, but I seen a little snippet from this past Friday night's Premier Pro event, and I noticed that you and your brother were facing off in the ring. So, talk to me a little bit about this, man. What was I have no idea what was going on.
This. I didn't either, Buster. I'm sitting in the back where, he came with me that day as he usually does, and we're sitting there just talking over what I think is going to go down that night. He wished me good luck, and I was fully prepared for a singles match that night, and as Alan Pounds is about to announce my name as junior heavyweight champion, out comes my brother.
Ooh.
Making a triple threat, and I kind of got, I remember you remember when I wrestled Halix a couple months back, and
right.
he had attacked my brother. I kind of felt, after I made that save that Nathan, was kind of, I don't know or Brian rather. I think Brian was a little, I don't know how to describe it. It kind of just felt like the jealousy and all those things throughout the years are starting to kind of build up there.
Well, let me ask you this: what's the difference in you guys' age?
I am 8 years older than him.
Ooh. See, my brother was 18 years older than me when I was born, so I was really an only child. But 8 years difference. And brother, have y'all always had that kind of relationship where You always trying to one up each other?
No, I just always wanted him to, be on my level. Is a good way to put it. I want him to compete. I want him to push as hard as I want it.
Right.
That's all I want out of it, out of anything, whether any sport, anything in life. I want him to push and compete and be up there at my level. And he's a long ways from that, and we showed that on Friday, how we take care of business there.
So what did you think about him actually coming out to challenge you, though, man?
Hey, I
on a
was
personal
impressed.
level. Forget the
Yeah.
wrestling. Forget the wrestling
No,
on a personal level, dude.
I was impressed. I'm like, finally, you're showing some balls,
There
showing
you
that you
go.
care, showing that you want something out of all this. To come challenge the one person, to come challenge the guy who's, paving the path for you, showing you how it's done.
Hey,
It takes
big
balls. That takes
big-
balls. What can I say? I got to respect it.
And big brother's always first, man. Little brother, no matter what, seems to always be chasing big brother.
Yep.
No, and that's just the way it is, man. Look, like I said, me and my brother's 18 years apart. He was grown when I was born, and still to this day, he's 70 something. I'm 50,
Oh, hell.
and man, we'll fight in a heartbeat, dude. Right
Of
now,
course.
it don't make a damn.
It never changes.
Never,
day
dude.
one.
And since he was so much older than me, he thinks he's my damn daddy on top of that.
Oh, yep. That never helps.
So look, dude, we fixing to start wrapping it up. But before we do, man, I got a couple of questions. Easy, simple, everyday question. Man, since you've been wrestling, who is your absolute favorite opponent, man?
Favorite opponent? Oh, that's tough. Always love wrestling Ben Trust. He's out he's up in like Southern Illinois area. Man. Ricky Marvin is another one I always loved to wrestle. Ricky Cruz, another one I always loved to wrestle. Ray Rico out in California, another one, just would tie up with it any day of the week. Halix, the guy that is a guy who I'll roll around with any day because he makes it feel real.
Yeah, I was impressed with him, man.
You're in a dog fight. You're in a dog
Right.
fight when you're in there with him. So that was a great feeling. What I still another Robert Martyr is another guy any day of the week. I still feel like my favorite match is I like John Cena's kind of take on this. My favorite match is my next one.
Right.
Yeah.
And you've wrestled a lot of different guys.
Yeah, they're all over the damn place.
When it boils down to it, you've wrestled a ton of different guys, from different places, different styles.
Yeah, I will say my favorite young guy, like up and coming that I've worked recently was Race Richards.
Man, I seen him at the car show 3 or 4 months ago that Premier Pro did. Man, he's a big kid. He's lanky kind of, but I was impressed with him too, man. He's a good looking kid. And hey, what is he? He's probably about 6'2", maybe?
Yeah, he got like 6'2", 6'3". He's pretty tall.
Yeah, he's got a lot of room to fill out. I don't know how old he is, but yes, I like him. There's another boy at UCW. Let's talk about that for a minute. Another boy there that I like is Rip Ravi. Young guy just starting out.
Recently just kicked his ass too.
Well, let's talk about that because I'm used to Jake Painter, the good guy, but I seen a little bit of heel Jake Painter going against Kyle, and then you told me that I need to come to UCW because they hate you there. So talk to me about that. Talk to me about going from Dyer, Tennessee, which is probably 35 minutes from Union City, maybe 40 minutes. They love you there. You're a perennial babyface. And then go over here and they hate you. Talk to me about that for a minute, dude.
Sometimes that frustration just kind of, leaks out of me, Buster. And I really give a piece of my mind to some of these people and some of these guys that think they can step up to the plate. Nobody here's been where I have. Nobody here's done what I've done. And they think that they can get in the ring with me and compete with me and work at my level. And you know, you got to bring that attitude. You got to bring that to the ring. Sometimes you got to show people what, you know, what the real difference in my training and where I've been compared to what the guys at these places bring to the table.
Right.
You know, so that's honestly what it comes down to. If you want to talk about that, it's, you know, you haven't done nearly the amount of work that I have, and to think that at these places that they belong in the ring with me is absurd.
And you know, here's the thing: you actually, I mean, these guys, they need to be in the ring with a guy like you. They need to be in the ring with guys who are better than them. That's the way you learn in wrestling. If you're working
Absolutely.
with if you're all green and you're all working together, I mean, you can only learn so much. You got to be in there with somebody who's been there, kind of done that, been further than you, knows more than you, got more experience, and you're a perfect guy. It's a benefit for these guys to step in the ring with you, I feel like.
Yeah, I agree, and I've gotten the opportunity to work with a lot of young up and coming talent too that have told me afterwards that they've gotten better, having been in the ring with me, and that's what it's all about. Sharing that knowledge and sharing that what I've done in my travels with the next guy and passing it along, because it takes two to tango in this business. We need
There
each
you
other
go.
we need each other to get better. We need each other to be better.
Hey, if one of us don't want the other one of us to look good, we're gonna look like shit. It's as simple as that.
Exactly. It's as
You
simple as
know,
that.
it don't get no more simpler. Look, one more. I got two more. One more question.
You're
We
good.
heard
I'm
who
ready.
some of your favorite opponents are. Who's the guy since you broke into business that you feel like you have the most competition with? And I'm not talking about just in the ring. I'm talking about in the back too. Who you two guys are always trying to prove to the other one that, hey, I'm better than you. No, I'm better than you. You got a guy like that?
I think that relationship with Marco is kind of developing.
Yeah, that's a hell of
Whenever
a matchup, dude.
yeah, I mean, whenever we're on the same card, we haven't crossed paths enough yet, and you know, it's like, oh, who's gonna follow this? Who's gonna follow that? So we're starting to get like that. Um, there's I want I feel like that you need that from
Yeah.
somewhere. You need that fire, that competition. That's what it's all about. Um, it's funny. It's kind of like that with yeah. It's like that with other relationships that I have with other wrestlers around. It's
Right.
We reach out to each other. It's, hey, what are you doing? Hey, what are you doing? Another guy you've watched me wrestle, Wade Moxie. We're constantly in touch. Hey, man, I'm going to be here this weekend. Oh, hey, I'm going to be here this weekend. Eric Surge. Hey, man, what you got going on this weekend? Oh, sick. I'm going to be here. Like these are
Right.
guys that that you got to stay in contact with. You got to hear from them because you're hearing what they're doing. You're like, oh, I got to get on that. That's not me. I'm next. That's
You you push each other. I mean,
Yeah.
that's
You have
healthy.
to. You need that.
Here's the thing. I'm a firm believer in healthy competition. Like you said, pro wrestling, it's a dance to a point, but at the end of the day, even though we're in there working together, we're still trying to prove that we're the best at this. We're
Oh,
better than the
absolutely.
guy we're working with. So, I mean, it is a competition at the same time, and it's a fierce competition at times. I mean, and wrestling's a hard business, man.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
So, look, Jake, obviously, you're in Ohio Valley now. You're all over the place. What is let's just say over the next year, let's say this time 2026, what is your immediate goal? Where do you hope to be this time 2026, man?
Um, I'm gonna be 100% honest with you, Buster. I really try not to put timelines on things.
Right.
That's another thing I've learned about myself, for the mental health of it all. Right?
I
I don't.
agree with that, man.
Yeah, I know what my end goal is. That could take 15, 20 years. We've seen it with, you know, LA Knight, Mustafa Ali, those kind of guys. Takes a long time. Um,
Hell, you're in Ohio Valley. Look at Cash Flow.
yeah.
This is
Oh
a
yeah.
guy who has been wrestling for years and years and years, and really just now, over
He's
the
getting his
past couple
break.
of years,
Yeah.
got his break. Now he's not just a wrestler; he's on Tulsa. What is it, Tulsa Kings?
Yep,
I mean,
he's acting next to Sylvester Stallone. That's crazy.
Yes, man, that's cool. So,
No, so I think my I'll say my short-term goals is to really conquer the areas around me, right? I know I had mentioned earlier in the broadcast, like indies, independent shows I really want to be a part of,
right,
action wrestling down in Georgia, New South in Alabama, TWE in Chattanooga. Those are the three, and CCW, that is usually running out of Tampa, Florida, is starting a territory in Nashville and becoming very successful. So, being a part of those four big places, and indie wise, to get the good work, to get, in front of like WWID like talent,
right,
that's really important. Um, then consistent TV, right? Being a mainstay on OVW television, getting with Dustin over at Memphis Championship Wrestling,
right,
um, getting with Neil down at EPW, just having consistent TV to show places like WWE, TNA,
right.
AEW that, hey, I am a presentable commodity to your company. And I feel like, I focus on those things and then, expand, or just consistently expanding on that, on those, and on those places. Like, I want to help a place like Union City get on IWTV.
Right.
That's what they're aspiring to have, is to have some streaming service and get bigger than just that little small town outside of Martin, you know.
Right.
Getting more eyes on a place like Premier Pro that deserves it, that deserves to sell out a place bigger than a Firehouse, you know. Those are big. That's huge for me. Is making, going somewhere, making it better. And if I were to ever leave it in better place than I found it. It's
There
only
you
gonna
go.
make me a better worker, a better person, and help everything grow. Because you got to make all the land's
Build
got to be fertile. All the land's got to be fertile. So,
builds that resume too.
yep,
It builds that
absolutely.
resume for you, man. Like you said, you need that resume. You need TV time, as much of it as you can get. You need consistent TV time. Here's something William Regal told me and my partner when he was down here in 2000. He was going through his issues. He had got fired from WCW. WWF had given him a job. They sent him down here. So he could get back in the groove, get back on track. And one of the things he told me and my partner, he said, "Look," he said, "TV time is precious." He said, "You can be the biggest star in the world, and you lose TV. You be off TV for 6 months, and the wrestling world forgets about you. Out of
Oh
sight,
yeah.
out of mind." So staying on consistent television programs, whether it's Memphis Wrestling, EPW, especially Ohio Valley, some NWA, that all builds that resume. It gives these guys something to look at, because somebody in New York is checking out some of these places. We know they're looking at Ohio Valley guys,
Oh yeah.
but I guarantee you they're looking at somebody up there's looking at the NWA guys too.
Oh yeah.
We
For
know
sure,
they're
no doubt.
watching Memphis wrestling down here. So if they're watching Memphis wrestling, there's a good chance somebody knows about EPW too, and somebody's kind of keeping an eye on that. All good places for you to work TV, get that experience, and then maybe get that call up one day, dude.
That's the goal. Yes, sir.
Jake, Jake, man, I appreciate you so much for coming on, man. It's always a pleasure anytime I get to talk to you. You know what I told you the first time? I can't wait to be the guy who said I had him first. I
Thanks,
cannot,
Buster. I appreciate that.
dude, I cannot wait. I can't wait to see you with them WWs behind your picture. And I can say, hey, back when he was just getting started, he was on my podcast long before he was a star. I knew he was a star then. The world just don't know it. And I believe that with my heart, Jake. You're already a star. We just got to let the world see.
Thank you, sir. I really appreciate that. Seriously,
Thank,
thank you.
thank you, dude. And man, you have a great night, my friend.
You too. Thank you very much. Take care.
You too. All right, guys, you seen it right there. The backbreaking artist, Jake Painter. One of the most talented young guys around, period. Not just our area, around, period. Busts his ass, goes out, different places, trains with different people, works with different places and different people. Well rounded professional athlete, well rounded professional wrestler. Adds to any show he's on. Any wrestling card he's on, and his picture's on that poster, he adds to it. All right, guys. Like this video, share this video, go to Buster H.R. Johnson on YouTube and subscribe to my channel. Look, I want to promote my upcoming podcast one more time before we get out of here, so let's check this out.
Hey kid, don't ever let them get inside your head. They'll tell you what to do in life instead of everything you know that you could get. Don't let them guide your life towards regret. I'll fight for what I love with every breath. My past is filled with things I won't forget. I use them all to push me to my best. So treat the worst of times just like a test. If only I could go back in time, I'd tell myself that everything will end up alright. Just push yourself, test yourself, figure out what you like, and find your limits, don't be rigid, always work towards a prime. Surround yourself with open minds, people can change your life. A few friends with intent can help you feel alive. Find a passion, take some action, and with a little time, just be patient, make a statement, try to enjoy your life. They'll try to kick you while you're down. They wanna rise up while you drown. They wanna fill your head with doubt. They're silently scared that you'll figure it out. I'll make it look like I'm losing, won't bother hiding my bruises. And when they finally think you're wounded, then it's your chance to be ruthless.
All right, guys, you see it right there. Got some great podcasts coming up over the next couple of months. Be sure to check these podcasts out, man. I got a couple of more I'm going to add to the list here in probably mid-February or so. But check them all out, man. Like my videos, share my videos, and go to my channel, Buster H.R. Johnson on YouTube, and subscribe. Guys, I'm back next Thursday night. It's all about 901 Wrestling. Tommy Jacks, promoter and founder of 901, will be with me, and we're going to learn all about 901 Wrestling out of Memphis, Tennessee.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that. Spitting slow, spitting fast. I could roast, I could gas. Think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past. And the pettiness, a reflection of the emptiness. Hilarious, you think you're worth my time, you're delirious. Mysterious, because you hide behind a fake exterior. Inferior, you know I'll always be a bit superior. Get off of me, this ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel free from the chains at last, and to believe in what you got, it was built to last, yeah.
Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.